Hello, viewers. Welcome back again to this live section. Thank you so much for stopping by to join me in this live section. So, we just heard that they have dropped bill to jail any Nigerian who does not vote during election. So, this bill is to prevent So, my people, sorry for the network problem. So, they have asked the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of House of Representatives to withdraw the bill, which contains that anybody or any Nigerian who does not vote during election is going to stay 6 months in jail, and not only that, also pay a fine of 100,000 naira. That's if they fail to vote in national and state elections. And now they're saying that is this what they want to use to stop apathy, voting apathy? That even if they should look for something they're going to use and stop voting apathy, is trying to put a law that any House of Rep member or any candidate who is seen trying to manipulate results or trying to give people handouts in order to vote for them should be the one going to jail, and not citizens. Not trying to be oppressive, because according to what they are saying now, they're saying that these people are just trying all their possible means in order to oppress the citizens of Nigeria, thereby forcing them to come out and vote, which is not supposed to be so. And you guys know the reason why Nigerians are filled with this apathy, fear of voting, is because of the kind of things that is going on in Nigeria. People don't longer come out again because they feel that once they come out to vote, they may actually buy them, or these talks may come and try to reach the election. Or sometimes the people who they believe is going to win the election may not be the people who they believe is going to win the election. So this is what they are trying to do, apathy, fear of voting. That is what they were saying. And the SARAP has asked them that ways to solve the voting apathy is to create a safe and conducive environment to combat the high-ranking politicians who commit electoral offences, and generally improve the electoral processes to encourage the citizens to come out and vote and not to send them to jail. That is what they should do. They should just create a safe and conducive environment, because why people are not coming out to vote is because of they believe that once they come out to vote, these talks may come and try to reach the election, the ballot boxes, and before you know it, they start shooting anyhow. Before you know it, you will say that one person is down. So that's the reason why citizens of Nigeria don't come out to vote. Instead, they should try to combat the evil politicians who are trying to reach elections. So guys, I want you guys to just listen to what these people have to say, this House of Representatives, what they say the National Assembly concerning Nigerians who don't come out to vote in this coming election, that if they don't come out to vote, that they are going to spend 6 months in jail, as well as pay fine of 100,000 naira. So guys, stay and listen to this video. I'll be right back.
Point of order should be sustained so that we can vote.
Thank you. Your point of order is sustained. Our big neck should wear a red cap for recognition, immediate recognition.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Akarachi Orishema Tosa Etiosa Amadi. Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak on this bill that I deem is a must for this House to support. Mr. Speaker, I speak to you not just as a member representing Mbitoli Keduru Federal Constituency of Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I speak to you as a Nigerian youth. I speak to you as someone that has gone through the electoral process, someone that has been sent by his people. And I believe that one of the pre-qualifications to run for any elective office is you must have your voter's card. I believe one of the pre-qualifications to have more youths in government and in offices is that you must be a registered voter and you must understand the system. If we do not mandate our citizens, our brothers and sisters to come out and try out the system by means of their right to vote, how do we encourage them to even come and join us in political offices? So this bill is coming at the right time. A time where Nigerians are looking to this 10th house to let the playing field be leveled for inclusion, for everybody in every corner of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to come out and exercise their voting rights. Mr. Speaker, there has been some wrongs in the past that has made Nigerians not comfortable with the political system. But I believe that there must be a day that will mark the day of change. And I believe that with this bill, seeking to make it mandatory for our brothers, our sisters, our sons, our children, our fathers, those that for some reason before now have had apathy to come out to vote, to say that it is time. We are being mandated by our representatives to make sure that we register to vote and we exercise the right to vote. We must lend our voice. We must support this bill because this bill is one that stands for democracy of Nigeria. This bill is one that stands for fairness for every quarter, every demographic that has reached the legal age to vote to come out and vote. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I, Engineer Akarachi Amadi, representing the people of Mbitoli Keduru Federal Constituency, lend my voice and support this bill. I so support Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
But you are not wearing a red cap now. Unless if you accept that you will wear red cap on Tuesday. Order. No, let's allow him. I made a promise. Let me keep it.
Thank you very much.
But please be brief.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Eset is my name, speaking for the good people of Uyo, who ran Nsiratai and Ibesiposutan Federal Constituency. The only state from Akwa Ibom State, the only state you can see in the Nigerian space flying. Mr. Speaker, while I thank you and other sponsors of this bill, that is a good bill, it's a wonderful one, but I have some reservations, Mr. Speaker. We are trying to put something on nothing. It's not the problem mandating citizens to vote. There is no problem making it compulsory for citizens to vote. But a situation where citizens have lost confidence in their vote, it becomes a problem, a very serious problem. And as such, Mr. Speaker, while we are making a law to make voting compulsory, we should also make a law that will make the votes of citizens count. The last election, Mr. Speaker, we can all say without shying from the truth, INEC chairman and all the INEC officers went around the country carrying out campaigns that their vote will count, giving all set of promises, and at the end, we saw something else. So while we are support the mandatory voting,
point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Let us do the difference.
Where's your point of order?
Yes, please, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our debates have rules. Mr. Speaker, these rules are found in Order 9. And it is these rules that will make us deliver on the subject matter the way the House expects us to talk when it comes to issues before the Parliament. This again is way outside the letters and the spirit of Order 9.1 sub 4. We must confine our debate to the subject matter. Mr. Speaker, with due respect, this debate, once again, is outside the scope of the expectation of Order 9.1 sub 4. So let us restrict ourselves. And if you can, Mr. Speaker, put the question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Point of order. Point of order.
Thank you. What he's saying is not too far away from the subject matter. It's just that we need to understand that for us to deepen democracy and extract the commitment of people, we have to make them part and parcel of the election process.
Point of
Let
order.
everyone has that responsibility of feeling himself that he is part of the election, either for or against every leader. Once you have that, it will create more consciousness and more commitment to whatever you do. And you hold your leaders more accountable. So please, what you have said is noted. And I'm happy that you didn't say it is not a good thing to do. It's just that you are saying you do not see, you have observed that a lot of people have lost confidence in the country. And this is one of the areas that we can restore the confidence of people. Because if you know truly you participate in election, you'll be more committed to the leadership and you hold the leaders accountable for that vote that you have given them. So thank you for the observation. It is noted. Honorable Gali, you are the last one that will consider.
I represent Alabasu Gaya Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the mover of this bill. This is one of the best and unique bill we ever had in this year. Mr. Speaker, in other climate, they have simplified the way of voting, and everybody participated by simplifying it. You can vote from your home. But I will add to tell our electoral commission to also simplify the way we vote so that people will be motivated to participate in that voting. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, I'm of the view that people must participate. We have to compulsorily make people to vote. In fact, we have to even add to reprimand those ones that are intentionally absconding from voting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gali, for your contribution. Those against you say nay. The ayes have it. This bill is referred to the Committee on Electoral Matters for further legislative action.
So, my people, I'm sure you guys listened to what happened in House of Rep, where they were saying that some people were opposing what the House of Rep people were saying that why would they say that if any Nigerian does not vote, the person will go for 6 months in jail? Why they also pay a fine of 100,000 naira. So the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged the Senate President Godswill Akpabio to and the Speaker of House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, to immediately withdraw the oppressive bill which contains repressive provisions to jail any Nigerian of voting age for 6 months or impose a fine of 100,000 on them if they fail to vote in national and state election. And the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project has told Akpabio and Mr. Abbas to amend the Nigerian Constitution of 1999 and the Electoral Act 2022 to remove constitutional immunity for state governors and their deputies who commit electoral offences, including vote buying, to facilitate the investigation and prosecution of the perpetrators. Now, the question is, they are trying to force Nigerians to vote during 27 election, but they have forgotten that the candidates, in fact, the candidates that are trying to win election, what they now do is vote buying, because they want to win that particular position. They will now start telling people that they're going to give them money if only they're going to vote for them. This is the reason why you see people are not so interested in the vote. People are not so interested in going for election. So it has actually brought apathy to many Nigerians. They don't want to go out and vote again. And also talks are also another thing that can cause talks are also another thing that can cause apathy in Nigerians. And sometimes many Nigerians have given up in this country, because imagine you trying to say, okay, Peter Obi is going to win election of this time, this person is going to win, and after everything they announce the results, and you're hearing that the person you voted for is not the winner, or you're hearing that they have manipulated the election result. This thing alone is going to make Nigerians, they will not come out to vote. And many people are now asking the House of Rep and also Senator Akpabio to remove that bill that they passed, saying that if you don't vote, you're going to be imprisoned for 6 months, or you're going to pay a fine of 100,000 naira. Now, according to what these people are saying, they say that rather than proposing bills that will severely punish Nigerians who may decide not to exercise their right to vote, the National Assembly should propose bills to remove constitutional immunity for governors and their deputies who commit electoral offences and undermine the integrity of the electoral process. Instead of them to pass this kind of bills that they want to pass now, saying that if you don't vote, you go for 6 months in jail, they should better pass the bill saying that any constitutional, like the governors and deputies who commit electoral offense, should go to jail instead. Because when it comes to these candidates who are going for election, their own is always worse. Their own is worse. They used to sometimes vote buying, sometimes they try to rig election, sometimes they bring their own thugs to the electoral process in order to make sure that the candidate they are facing does not win. So the idea of compulsory voting and jailing citizens for voting is not a right thing to do. It's just unnecessary and unlawful. The right to vote is part of citizens' right to participate in their own government, and the choice of whether to exercise it is personal. If anybody doesn't want to come out and vote, it's a personal decision. It is their right to vote. So you cannot just come and say, if you don't vote, you're going to be imprisoned. You're not trying to be oppressive or trying to use power to submit people to come and vote. This is now act of dictatorship. So the National Assembly ought to propose bills to reduce the influence of money in politics and encourage not to compel the exercise of the right to participation. Anyway, guys, I want you guys to listen to what these people, because many people are reacting to this law that the House of Rep want to pass. Now, many people are reacting to it. I want you guys to listen to what these people also have to say about this bill that the House of Rep want to pass. Guys,
do you
I'll
know
be right
there
back.
is a bill that is supposed to lock you up in jail? Yes. Or you pay 100,000 naira should you fail to just vote. Aha, but don't be afraid. Let's break it down for you. Well, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, otherwise known as SERAP, has called on Senate President Godswill Akpabio and House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas to withdraw a proposed bill that seeks to impose a 6-month jail term or 100,000 naira fine on eligible Nigerians who fail to vote in elections.
The organization described the bill as oppressive and a violation of citizens' rights under the Nigerian law in state elections and for related matters, proposes compulsory voting for all eligible Nigerians. Joining us now this morning on Breakfast Central is Deputy Director of SERAP, Mr. Kolawole Oluwadare. Kola, a warm welcome to you and thanks for joining us in person this time around.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you. Now, your organization, SERAP, has described this bill as oppressive and unconstitutional. In what specific ways does it contradict both the Nigerian Constitution and international human rights standards? Aren't you happy to have higher voter turnouts? Proponents of democracy says it strengthens democracy.
No, not necessarily. And that is why we need to look at these within the democratic context. That is why we have laws, primarily among which is the Constitution, that guides the conduct of everyone, including those that govern the citizens and those political office holders, whether they are appointed or elected. In this instance, what does the bill seek to achieve? Knowing fully well that under our laws, people have the right to participate in government and not to. It is a right. It is not an obligation. It is not a duty, as it were. And that is why Section 14 of the Constitution says that the right of people to participate in government is preserved. It does not make it mandatory. And don't forget, participation in government does not start and end with going to the polls every 4 years, or if you can, the off-cycle elections. It means being able to have conversations, including conversations like these, to call government to order, to hold government accountable. It would appear that what this bill wants to do is to compel people to vote, but deprive them of the other aspects of participation, which is what the National Assembly should be looking into, and not to compel people to vote. And this is against the backdrop of the realities that we've seen, that voter turnout has decreased over the years. Registration increased, but participation, the actual voting.
I mean, I guess that's what brought about this.
But this is not the right way to go about it, which is why I would believe that the National Assembly should look at the causes, which I'm sure they are aware of that voter apathy. It's not really, voter apathy is just a symptom. It is apathy of the people for not being able to participate in government. That is what has led to the voter apathy.
So now that you've said that this is an unconstitutional bill, are there ways in which this bill can be challenged? What is Sarah hoping to achieve with, asking them to withdraw it? What are the steps you're taking?
Ordinarily, this is just one step out of many that we believe SERAP has initiated. SERAP is just one of the civil society organizations in Nigeria. So the people ultimately have the power. What we expect the people to do is to speak to the various members of the House of Representatives, to call them. What is their position on this? Because that is why they are there. They are going to their constituents. We have just ignited the spark, so to speak. The people are expected to take this up to ensure that that bill does not see the light of day.
And if it does go through, what will happen?
Of course, we said it clearly in our letter to the National Assembly. We will be compelled once again to go to court. This will become another public interest litigation, which it need not be. We would go to court if this bill becomes law, because the law allows people, any individual, to go to court to challenge the validity of a law in consonance with our constitution, which is the ground law. And we will do that if this bill scales through.
Well,
which I do not believe it.
There are also many other bills that were passed. I'm sure you're aware. Has Sarah taken time to go through these bills, because they seem to be so much? And aside from this one, which doesn't in any way give Nigerians freedom to choose whether they want to exercise their rights in terms of voting or they don't want to at all, would you say that the House and the Senate, would you say that they are taking it too far with these bills?
I think it's a case. When you look at some of the bills, not all, perhaps just some percentage of the bills being passed in both houses. Like in this instance, it appears to be a case of misplaced legislative priorities. There are other burning issues of governance that affect Nigerians, and even those in the National Assembly, much more importantly, than trying to compel people to vote. And that is why the National Assembly must understand its roles within the concept of checks and balances. Some people will say the National Assembly is a rubber stamp. That doesn't mean the National Assembly has to fight the judiciary or the executive, but it means the National Assembly will pass laws and perform the oversight functions to ensure that the people benefit. In this instance, when you look at the whole thread of bills that have come out in the past few years, how do they benefit the people? And zeroing in on these particular one, this amendment to the Electoral Act, which I believe there's another bill pending before the Senate, and I do hope it doesn't follow the same way. How does it benefit the people? It doesn't. In fact, it seeks to punish the people for what the government have been doing for them over the years.
Now, we have a tradition in this part of looking at global best practices and saying, in saner climes that they've done this and it's worked well. Now let's talk about saner climes. Australia, you agree with me, is a saner climb. Belgium is a saner climb. They've successfully implemented compulsory voting. Why does Sarah believe this won't work in Nigeria?
And I do agree. I mean,
people, it would wake up young Nigerians
Not
spending time on TikTok. They know you could pay a fine or go to jail.
They also
spending time on TikTok is a freedom of expression. You're free to do that. Not necessarily. I think we have 22 countries practicing mandatory voting presently, and I think about 10 or 12% of that, they are not enforced. Only a significant few enforce it, actually. But you need to look at our context. It is not just enough to say in saner climes or in other that some people call it advanced democracies. We need to look at our local context.
What is our context?
How can we enforce these laws?
We don't even have enough
many laws that we have they been enforced? We have the Freedom of Information Act. How well has it been enforced? How will it be enforced not to infringe on the rights of the people who may be perceived as not wanting to vote for a particular bloc or not? And that is what we need to look at. Again, we need to look at, does it have the capacity to handle the volume of people that will turn out to vote? looking at the capacity of INEC and what INEC has done over the years. But I think, much more importantly, these countries, they started this mandatory voting because there was a context and a situation before they started. When we look at ours, will compulsory voting solve the problem of voter apathy? The question is a resounding no. So why should we do it?
All right. Speaking about the problem of voter apathy, which is what you said, this bill seeks to solve. Well,
according to the bill.
According to the bill. Is it that the bill can maybe be amended? You know how oftentimes we talk about certain bills not being completely thrown out?
Don't throw away the baby and the bathwater.
Is there a way that this bill could be amended to achieve the intended goal?
In this instance, save the baby. Don't kill the baby, but please throw the bathwater out entirely. There is nothing about this particular bill. Okay. And, you know, there are two bills we're talking about now. There is one before the House of Reps earlier this year, and then there is one last week before the Senate. We are not sure that the one before the Senate has these provisions, but we are concerned that it might, if not now, perhaps at all the other stages in the legislative process, which is why we need to talk now. It is not wrong to amend the Electoral Act. We do that from time to time, but it must be done looking backwards and looking forward. What are the issues that arose from the last elections? How can we cure it? Is voter apathy the major issue that we have with the elections last year? What are the causes? And how can this law correct that? I do not think this particular amendment, I'm talking of the one amending 4 sections of the Electoral Act mandate and punishing people for not voting, is the right way to go. And that is if we look at the causes. Why don't people turn out to vote? It is because over time, people have seen that their views that those in positions hold their views not to count, and that is why they do not turn out. And what about electoral violence? Just to give you a very good example, last year, Serap went to court in 2023, and last year, the Federal High Court of Lagos, Honorable Justice Egwatu, gave judgment in favor of Serap, compelling INEC to hold those who have been involved in electoral malpractice in 2023 general elections, including governors and their deputies, to account. The judgment is yet to be obeyed. We have to file our lawyers have to file Form 47 and 48. As part of the contempt proceedings to compel the INEC chairman to obey the judgment until the subsequent processes to appeal that judgment. But that judgment is yet to be obeyed. And so what does that say about INEC? If you don't punish people who have done wrongly in the last elections, people have died and nobody gets punished. Why do you want people to come out again and to vote? So to me, it's misplaced priorities. There are other things the National Assembly can do in amending the Electoral Act to make people participate more. What about the issue of electronic transmission of votes? That the court has given judgment that it's not mandatory, as it were. What are
So, my people, you guys listen to what this people discussed here concerning the bill that they want to pass. Now, the problem we have is not even the voters' apathy. The problem we have is what is causing the voters' apathy. That is the problem we should be looking at. What is causing it? We've had several cases during elections where people are always spied during election process because of thugs that came into the election place and made away with the ballot boxes, thereby buying 1 or 2 people during the process. So now, even if the INEC wants to mandate compulsory voting, they look at what is causing this voter apathy first, thereby asking that they should not be thugs. Even if they are saying that they want to give 6 months imprisonment to people who are not voting, that bill should be meant for the thugs that are always coming into election center to make away with the ballot boxes. That particular bill should be given to them. And also politicians, governors and deputy governors who are always giving money to people in order for them to vote for them, which we call vote buying. That is the people that this bill is supposed to be. Voting is the right of the citizens, which is personal for them to come out and vote or not. It's not something you have to force the citizens to come out and vote. And some of them, the reason why they don't vote is because in many elections, the candidates have actually promised us they're going to do this, they're going to do that. If you come into power, we'll make the cost of food items to reduce. If you come into power, there will be maximum electricity, there will be 24 hours light. And after everything, the people vote for them. They don't see they're no more seeing results. After some days in office, things change. The people who they voted for are no more giving them what they requested again. And this alone is also going to cause voters apathy. So even if they're giving this kind of bill, if they're passing this kind of bill, they should consider that there's something triggering the voters apathy and the reason why people are not coming out to vote. You guys hear what Serap have to say the director Kolowa was saying that jailing eligible Nigerians for deciding not to vote will be entirely inconsistent and incompatible with the letter and spirit of Nigerian constitution and the country's international human rights obligations. You trying to jail Nigerians for not voting is like you tampering with the human rights, like you tampering with their rights. That is what they are only trying to do. If INEC wants to make sure that people come out to vote in 2027 election, what he should do is that he should try to provide a conducive and safe environment for people, and you see that many people will turn on. Just like there are some states that election process are always going well in. When it comes to some, there are some states that are very peaceful, but there are some states that people will look at, they'll be like, I'm not going to vote because I don't want problem. There are many, we've had series of cases where they say in a particular election place they fired many people because thugs came in and made away with ballot boxes. So the are passing a bill that if you don't vote you will enter 6 months in jail. It's not necessary because it's very unlawful and it's not necessary. This is trying to like this is trying to like hinder people from their right. This is like you trying to restrict them for their right. Everybody has the right to vote. They also have the right to say they don't want to come out and vote due to personal issues or the rest. So guys, you can see what is really happening, the way they have decided to order the bill, saying that if any Nigerian does not come out to vote, as far as you've passed the age of 18, you're going to be go to 6 months in jail, and not only that, you're going to pay a fine of 100,000 naira, which many people were opposing. Though some House of Rep members were saying that the decision is good, while some people were saying that it is not good, that the INEC should solve their problem first at hand, that the problem is coming from INEC. If they can give the people free and fair election, if they can give the people a means in the sense that they will not be afraid to come out of, in the sense that the people who they chose or they believe is going to wins the election, you find that the Nigerians will be turning up when it comes to election. And the way I'm even seeing itself, this 27 election that is coming up, I don't think many people would want to turn up because they didn't really, the people, you guys saw what happened in 2023 elections. We don't really need to start going there. It was people were expecting a particular candidate to win. All of a sudden, okay, I think, yeah, people were expecting P2B to win. All of a sudden, we heard that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the winner and he's not the president of Nigeria. And everybody was surprised because, according to what they were saying, they said that P2B had the highest number of votes, but how come Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the office? So, this thing alone is what will make people not even go out to vote. They'll be like, by the way, our vote does not count. So they can put anybody they want to put in that position. So them saying that if you don't come out to vote, you'll be 6 months. Because I think this is when the government are not trying to infringe the rights of the citizens, which is unnecessary and unlawful, and it is not written anywhere in the constitution that as a citizen you must, though they said as a citizen you must come out to vote, but there are some personal issues that one may have, and the person may not want to really come out to vote, which the government should actually respect that decision. It's just like you coming out to vote, and before you know it, you're not hearing sounds of gun from afar. Now you'll be regretting why you came out to vote. And people have actually lost hope in Nigeria, especially when it comes to election. People are feeling that election these days is all about your godfather. Do you have a godfather? If you have a godfather, then you're going to be eligible to win the particular position. And also they have lost hope in Nigeria because they know that people who are ruling this country are people who have rights to put anybody they want to put in that position. So the INEC chairman should deal with the fact that why people are not coming out to vote is because they have given Nigerians bad impacts for years. They've told them that this thing you are doing, that we are the ones that have the right to put anybody in power, your vote does not count. So Nigerians have had this mentality that their vote does not count. So why are they not coming out to vote? You guys saw what the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project said. He has urged the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas to immediately withdraw the oppressive bill which contains repressive provisions to jail any Nigerian of voting age for 6 months or impose a fine of 100,000 on them if they fail to vote in national and state election. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged Mr. Akpabio and Mr. Abbas to instead amend the Nigerian Constitution 1999 and the Electoral Act 2022 to remove constitutional immunity for state governors and their deputies who commit electoral offences, including vote buying, to facilitate the investigation and the prosecution of these perpetrators. So, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project also urged Mr. Akpabio and Mr. Abbas to amend the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral Act to explicitly prohibit the appointment of members of any political party as resident electoral commissions of the Independent National Electoral Commission. There is currently in the National Assembly a bill for an act to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to make it mandatory for all Nigerians of majority age to vote in all national and state elections, and for related matters, the bill seeks to make voting compulsory and prescribes a 6-month jail term or a fine of 100,000 or both for non-compliance. The letter dated 29 March 2025 and signed by the state deputy director Kolowale, the organization said jailing eligible Nigerians for deciding not to vote will be entirely inconsistent and incompatible with the letter and spirit of the Nigerian Constitution and the country's international human rights obligations. Then they also said that proposing bills that would severely punish Nigerians who may not decide not to exercise their right to vote. The National Assembly ought to propose bills to remove constitutional immunity for governors and their deputies who commit electoral offences and undermine the integrity of the electoral process. So, according to them, they were saying that the most effective way to solve the perennial voter apathy is to create a safe and a conducive environment, combat the impunity of high-ranking politicians who commit electoral offences, and generally improve the electoral processes to encourage the citizens to come out to vote and not to send them to jail. And they were saying that the National Assembly fails to drop the bill prescribing a 6-month jail term for eligible Nigerians who decide not to vote in national and state elections. And should any such bill be assented to by the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will consider appropriate legal action to challenge the legality of any such law and ensure they are never implemented. So the idea of compulsory voting and jailing citizens for not voting is not necessary and is also unlawful. The right to vote is part of citizens' right, right to participate in their own government, and the choice of whether to exercise it or not is also a personal decision. So they don't have any right to throw anybody behind bar for not coming out to vote. And also they should not try to pass that law to Bola Ahmed Tinubu because they want to make sure that that kind of bill is never implemented. Like you can see that it's not just about sending the citizens to jail if they don't vote or come out to vote. The problem that I think the INEC should start by fixing themselves first, because the problem of the voter apathy is coming from INEC, like it's just coming from them. If they can fix the problem they have in INEC, if they can fix the corruption they have there, you'll find out that many Nigerians will be turning up in every time they say election has started, they will turn up, and you find that Nigeria is going to be better because they will make the best choice and put the right leaders in that position. But they have already given Nigerians this idea, this mindset that no matter what you're going to vote, your vote does not count because we will still put whoever we want to put there. It happened in 2023 when many Nigerians were expecting that Peter Obi is going to win. After everything, he did not win. They made Bola Ahmed Tinubu the winner, and everybody was so surprised. It didn't shock many people. Even people who didn't come out to vote were like, thank God they didn't come out to vote. By the way, they already know that this is what is going to happen, because on that 2023 election, Peter Obi had so many turn up, many people came out to vote for him. But after everything, we were hearing a lot of rumors and stories saying that they manipulated the results and made Bola Ahmed Tinubu the winner. So guys, like a lot of crazy things is happening in Nigeria. So this bill they want to pass, I think is not a good decision at all. This is like them trying to infringe the rights of Nigerians, trying to infringe their human rights, and it is unlawful. is very, very unlawful. So imagine saying that now if someone doesn't come out to vote because of fear of talk, so the person will not be 6 months person will not be sent to 6 months in jail. Like, it is never happening. Or they will not say you have to pay a fine of 100,000 naira. Even if they should implement this law today, I'm sure that hundred, or let's say thousands of Nigerians are going to fall for it, because many Nigerians have lost hope in Nigeria. To be honest, many people have given up. Everybody is now folding their arms to watch this country. Anyhow this country wants to be, let it be. So people are just tired that anybody they want to put there, let them just put there. As far as they know that this country will never change. That is what Nigerians have in mind now. Like, a lot is really going on. So, guys, that's all we have for today. Let me know your thought below. What do you really think about this bill they want to pass, saying that many Nigerians must come out to vote 27, or else they will go for jail for 6 months, or pay a, not only that they will go for a jail for 6 months, they will also pay a fine of 100,000 naira. So, guys, let me know your thought below. And also, if you know you're new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button, like and share, and turn on the notification button to be getting all the latest news in this channel. So, guys, thanks for watching. Also, let me know your thoughts below by dropping your comments in by dropping your comment below. So, guys, thanks for watching.